So this fight over taking down these Confederate monuments is going on in North Carolina. And I've got an article about this over at Channel 13 WVEC North Carolina to share with you. So welcome back to the channel, Culture Confederacy. Here it's Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. We're going to do this in one take because I've got to get ready for work soon. And there might be some background noise. I got people across the street. They're working on a house here. So it is what it is. We're doing this in real time. But here's my thing on this whole issue with Confederate statues. If you're going to take down Confederate statues, people like Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson, you name it, then why not take down statues of Thomas Jefferson or George Washington? All the founding fathers. Why not dismantle Independence Hall in Philadelphia? Because at the time in 1787, when they were debating having this thing called the Constitution, or they had the Philadelphia Convention, all 13 colonies, or colonies which were in the process of becoming states, they all practiced slavery. So if it's all because of slavery that we're taking down these Confederate monuments, then everything needs to go, because slavery was an integral part of daily life during the colonial period. So let's get to this. And this is a story, let me find the author here. Again, Channel 13 WVEC. This came out just a couple of days ago. What's today? Yeah, it came out a couple of days ago, March 5th. Losing track of my days here. That's what happens when you do the overnights on the weekend. And we have the time change this weekend, so I'm all screwed up. So this focus is really on Edenton, North Carolina. Now, two counties in the story here. Chowan County and Tyrrell County. But it says here, Edenton, North Carolina, story by Alex Littlehales, last name Littlehales. 10 years after lawmakers in the Tar Heel state approved measures to protect historical statues, which also includes monuments erected in connection to the Confederate Army, several statues in northeastern North Carolina still face complicated futures ahead. And the Chowan County town of Edenton, a coastal community along the Albemarle Sound, a Confederate monument sitting below the town's main idyllic strip, has been the spot of contention for 3 years now. The monument erected to our Confederate dead, that's in quotes, has stood at the bottom of South Broad Street for several decades. Again, if it's all over slavery, well then maybe we need to take down all these statues to George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, dismantle Philadelphia Hall. In fact, we should just get rid of the Constitution, because it still has the fugitive slave clause in the Constitution. Every Saturday since 2021, the statue divides two groups of protesters embattled over the future of the monument's location. Every weekend, without fail, members of the Move the Monument Coalition line the sidewalks outside the Monument's Plaza, standing and walking with signs advocating for the monument's removal from the prominent focal point, near the town's waterfront. It began as an individual form of protest from Adrian Heath. Quote, sometimes it's bigger, sometimes it's less. It's been a fight with the city because we were originally allowed to work on the square, Heath said. Now, the problem here, the hitch, is that you have the state law, the state law in North Carolina that does not allow you or a city commission to remove these monuments. We'll get into that in here in just a moment. Soon after, Edenton resident Rod Phillips joined alongside with which soon evolved into a weekly ritual of protesters condemning the monument. So you have Rod Phillips and you have Adrian Heath here, who are protesting this monument still being up. And then you have these people who want the protest to remain standing. The statue to remain standing. We're going to have these protests remain standing. We're going to stand here, we're just going to protest. That's all we're going to do is just protest. Can you tell I'm just trying to wake up this morning? Quote, I guess it's simply because we feel that strongly about it. There are a lot of people in town who'd like to see it removed, who don't show up to the protest, who don't cross the line. I guess we just feel strongly enough about it, Phillips said. Then roughly a year later, Michael Dean joined the conversation, but from the other side of the street. Quote, they have been protesting for almost a year. Several of my fellow veterans and I were having coffee and talking about this, and we decided that we wanted to show there was more than one side to a coin. Exactly. There's always two sides to a story. Dean, as well as fellow protesters, are looking to keep the monument where it is, argue the statue pays tribute to dozens of Chowan County residents fighting for the Confederate Army who were killed during the Civil War. To them, it's a veteran statue and not a representation of slavery or racism. And he talks about this in the next quote here. Quote, can I get the words out? If it had an inscription about slavery, I could see where somebody would have cause to take it down. I can see that. I would be first to admit it. But read it. It says to our Confederate dead. Now, on the other side of the coin, so to speak here, you also have this issue going on in Terrell County. So let me get to that part here. As I said, this is a lengthy article. So here's the subheadline. In appreciation of our faithful slaves. Sherry Reed Robinson raises her daughter in the same place she grew up. Their house once belonged to their grandmother, overlooking acres of open land in Terrell County. She, along with other concerned citizens in the county, are the plaintiffs of a federal lawsuit attempting to remove a Confederate monument sitting in a public square in downtown Columbia. There, a man stands at attention with the names of Confederate fatalities etched on the base and inscribed on the back in appreciation of our faithful slaves. The federal lawsuit argues the county's allowance of the monument on government property is an example of racially discriminatory government speech. So they're arguing here that because it has this inscription to our faithful slaves, that this is discriminatory government speech. Is it? Or could it be that maybe they are paying homage to the people who were at the time slaves in the Confederate Army, who served faithfully in the Confederate Army and gave their lives for the Confederate side? A lot of people don't know what's on the statue, but a lot of people will say, just get over it. But unfortunately, those times are in the past for people of color. It sticks with you, according to a Robinson here. Let me get back. Did I mention her name? Like I said, we're doing this in one take today, so let me, Sherry Reed Robinson. Okay, yes, I did mention it. Robinson says the argument that Confederate monuments are, in actuality, veteran memorials falls short. Quote, from a family full of veterans, I respect veterans across the board, she said, but it's not about veterans, it's about history and the future. Well, I can make the same argument, again, about statues of Thomas Jefferson or Independence Hall. Restraining order in Pasquotank County, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, it's Pasquotank, in Pasquotank County, a Confederate monument still sits in the heart of Elizabeth City's downtown. County commissioners voted to relocate this statue in 2020, but were again stalled by a restraining order citing the 2015 monument law, which was a monumental law, actually, because of the fact that, it said here that, a city commission could, or these, these monuments could not be removed, these historical monuments. So let me go through that part here. I'm going to skip back up through the article. So pardon me for seeming like I'm all over the place here, but we're just going to go through this as quickly as we can. So it says here, in 2015, North Carolina lawmakers moved to make legislative approval a requirement when changing or removing, when making, can I get the words out again? Let me start over. In 2015, North Carolina lawmakers moved to make legislative approval a requirement when changing or removing monuments erected in honor of an event, person, or military service that is part of North Carolina's history. There, I got it out. I did it right. Give me a round of applause, everybody. This is what happens on Mondays. It has been a sucky week. I found out I have jury duty. Then we had a meeting last week. And then I found out this weekend that the bus service here is not going to have an overnight driver. So a whole bunch of stuff has been happening. So I'm all over the place, as I said. So it goes on to say the law also establishes certain conditions around a monument's relocation, establishing that movement must be limited to, quote, a site of similar prominence, honor, visibility, availability, and access that are within the boundaries of the jurisdiction from which it was relocated. Last March, a North Carolina appeals court upheld a judge's ruling for a case based out of Alamance County, where the state and local branches of the NAACP sued to remove a 30-foot statue of a Confederate infantryman. And I believe I did a story about this. In his opinion, the judge ruled that county commissioners in Alamance County didn't have authority to remove the state-based or the statute based on that 2015 law. So you can see the argument here. You got a law in the state of North Carolina that says these monuments cannot be removed by, let's say the city commission. And you got people fighting to have that removed within these cities, within these counties. So there's got to be a compromise somewhere. There's got to be a compromise somewhere about this. So tell me what you think in the comment section below. Thought I'd share this article with you again over at Channel 13 WVEC. You have a battle in North Carolina in these counties, a tale, as I call it, of two Confederate statues, of whether or not they can keep these statues up or take these statues down. But you have this 2015 law that says these historical monuments can't be removed. A city commission can't go in there and remove it. It's against state law. So title of the article again, Future of Confederate Statues in North Carolina is Still Complicated by State Law. So tell me what you think again in the comment section below. Get another one-take video. Thank you for letting me stumble and bubble my way through this. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, hashtag Jason Composes, because I write music in my spare time. You can go to X, Culture Confederacy, at Culture Confed 1 on X. Now you can find me at Substack. This is the Culture Confederacy saying peace out. Stay safe, everybody. God bless this thing called the United States. I'll catch you next time, and you all have a great Monday. Take care.